Pots, Pans, and Pioneers. Today I'm going to be making scalloped potatoes. This is a really fast version of scalloped potatoes, and it's for people who really want a quick side and don't want to spend an hour and a half in the oven waiting on cheesy potatoes. So let's get started. I've got a bag of potatoes from Sprouts. They're just organic yellow potatoes. I recommend the yellow potatoes because they do not take very long to cook. So it's half the time of the russet potatoes or the ones with the heavy skin. So even the red ones sometimes take too long to do mashed potatoes. So I always buy the yellow gold or the butter potatoes just because, well, they cook faster. And when you're hungry, you don't want to wait on food. So I'm going to get enough in here for, I'm just doing dinner tonight for my husband and I, so you could do your own amount of potatoes you wanted. And let's get them rinsed off. Just leave them over there in the sink. And these are the smaller ones or the tender ones. You could boil them whole, just take you longer. So I'm just going to slice, and I could use my food processor as well. But these aren't large enough really to, put down into a food processor. So I'm going to do them with my hands. Okay, we're going to get these sliced up, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I've got the potatoes all sliced up, and I put them in a pot of water, and we're going to let them boil. I'm going to wait till this gets up to a boil. I'm going to let them boil for 6 or 7 minutes. I'm going to set my timer for 6 or 7 minutes, whichever I decide what to do. Doesn't matter, a minute won't make a difference. And I'm going to sprinkle them with kosher salt. Starch always takes a little bit more seasoning than meat does. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of garlic powder in the water so it cooks through. A little bit of pepper. And what we're going to do is we're going to, we're going to get this up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, set our timer and we'll be back. Okay, so the next part we're going to do is I'm going to drain off the potatoes in a colander in a strainer. Got a few stragglers down here at the bottom. And then we're going to take our potatoes and we're going to pour them into a baking dish. This is just a small little, I think this is like a 8 by 9 or something like that. I don't know. We're going to leave them in there. And everybody in the pool. Okay. So let's go make our au gratin sauce. Okay, I have 3 tablespoons of butter in a little saucepan. And it's melting. And I'm going to add about a teaspoon, actually a half a teaspoon of minced garlic. Depending on how garlicky you like it, that's going to be your gauge. I'm making this for my family, so obviously it's for what we like. And so we're going to have this melt down a little bit. I got it on about medium heat, medium high, somewhere in that range. Okay, and I'm going to bring that up like that. And then we're going to take, now listen, this is a scoop that I use for my flour. So this is probably, 3.5 tablespoons of flour, AP flour, just like that. And I'm gonna start making, you know, in my mother's world you would say this is a roux because it's a fat and it's flour and it's being mixed together and heated, so it's a roux. But I know this is not for a Cajun dish, so I'm gonna get this all thickened up. We don't want it to brown at all. We just want it to thicken up. This is the thickener. I'm gonna add a little bit of dehydrated onion, and I mean a little. I'm gonna add a couple of shakes of Cajun seasoning, and I'm going to add a little bit of parsley flake. I'm just gonna mix this together like that. And it's just still on medium. I haven't changed temperature. And now we're gonna get our milk. Now, you can use just plain milk. You can use skim milk. Your flour is going to determine how thick it is. I'm going to use just half and half, and I'm just going to. I think it's a cup and a half. And I'm just going to get this to go in together. Get it to be thick like that. I'm going to let it sit over here on medium. Because the half and half is cold, so it's going to take a minute for it to get up to temperature. And then once it comes up to temperature, I've got some sliced cheese and some shredded cheese. And we're going to add some Parmesan cheese as well. And we're just going to stir this. It has to be warm before you add your cheese. If you add cold milk to this hot roux and then you put cold cheese in it, you're going to have a kind of a sticky mess. So I'm going to do this all warm. And what this is just a cheese sauce. So as it's warming up, I'm using Gouda because it's a very great melting cheese. It's ideal for grilled cheeses. And if you've ever made a grilled cheese with Gouda, you know what I'm talking about. A really good brioche bread with Gouda cheese and sliced fresh tomatoes, salt and pepper. It's just awesome. And I like to use Gouda in my au gratin potatoes. You could use any kind of really good melting cheese that melts without stringing. I wouldn't use mozzarella just because mozzarella has a real, you know, it strings like pizza. When you bring the pizza up, it kind of strings along. And I know this is heating up because it's turning. So I'm going to take my sliced cheese and just kind of drop the bits in here. I'm just taking pieces of sliced cheese, and I'm going to put like maybe 6 or 7 slices of Gouda cheese. Now you could buy Gouda by the brick if you wanted to and put it shredded. That's ideal, but I don't have shredded Gouda with me, so I'm going to do this the single mom way. We're just going to all throw it in here. So that's slice 2. And we're going to give us a little stir. And if you find it's thickening up too much, just, you know, add a little bit more milk. And it should work out great. This is slice 3. 5 or 6 slices, I think, kind of gives it that cheesy flavor. Four. See how it's kind of stringy? I probably didn't let it get hot enough because I'm trying to do a video. Okay, we'll just do 5 today because I'm going to add Parmesan too. Parmesan is really good because it has a lot of salt in it. It's got a lot of sodium. So if you miss any sodium, your Parmesan cheese will really make up the difference. Sometimes they can make it salty. You just got to be real careful. So I did like a few shakes of Parmesan cheese. And I'm really just wanting to get, you know, a really good cheese sauce going here. And I've sprayed the bottom of that dish, that baking dish. I didn't mention that, but I did spray it with a cooking spray on the bottom before I put my potatoes in there. And this is already melting down pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit of milk. Or half and half. I'm using half and half today. It's almost like a fondue. Okay, I think this is melted enough. I'm going to turn the stove off because I'm using my grandmother's pots and pans, and they're called Magnolite, and they get really hot, just like a cast iron skillet. So all right, let's go pour our cheese sauce over our potatoes. Okay, we're here with the potatoes, and I'm just going to take this cheese sauce and I'm going to pour it right over top, just like that. Listen, if you love au gratin potatoes and you don't want to wait an hour and a half for them to cook in the oven, this is a recipe for you. Super simple. You could even hide some vegetables in here with your kids. Once they cover them with cheese, they'll never know. I used to do that with my children. As a single mother, I always had to do everything fast and furious because they were always starving. And I worked 2 jobs, and so I always had to go really fast. Okay. This will drain it down into your potatoes really good. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to top these with a shredded Monterey Jack. Just like that. This is a fine shred. This has no wood pulp, so I did check the bag to make sure they didn't add anything like that. So my husband loves scalloped potatoes with fish, and tonight I'm making trout with just lemon and garlic. That's it. Nothing special, or I'd video it. There's nothing special about it. Just trout fillets with, I'm going to melt some butter with lemon and a little bit of dill, and we put them in our little convection oven, the small oven, and we have potatoes and broccoli on the side, and then for dessert I'm going to do like a sliced cantaloupe. And if you love cantaloupe in Texas, it's hot, and so always a good cool dessert is always fruit on the side at night is very good to have. So okay, I'm going to pop this in the 350-degree oven, and we're only going to cook it for like 10 to 15 minutes. If you have a regular oven, I'd say about 12. I have a convection oven, so I'm going to check it at 10 and make sure I can get a fork through it. If I can get a fork through it, then they're done. It's good to go. So we'll be back when they come out of the oven. Okay, our scalloped potatoes are out of the oven, and they are sizzling around the edges, so I'm going to let this cool down a bit, and I will give you a view once I get our fish all done, and I'll plate it up and get it ready to go. But this is straight out of the oven, and I've tested the potatoes, which I always do, and you can stick a fork straight through it easily. So the potatoes are done. So once I get our dinner plates fixed up here, I will absolutely give you a plated view of our scalloped, our easy, fast, quick, easy scalloped potatoes, and they're awesome. So we'll be back. Okay, we're plating up. I've got broccoli and trout, and we're gonna plate up some scalloped potatoes. So there you are. Scalloped potatoes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and share our videos. And we'll see you next time. Everybody have a blessed week.